Alright, this time in the garage we're working on the 63 and we're installing 63 power brake booster. But not only that, I'm going to show you how to make this unobtainium rear dust shield for the power brake booster. What you can see is bullet point number 8. There's your GM numbers right down. The only problem is this is the piston for the back of the booster, and if you look around there you can see a little air gap there, which is about probably half an inch or a quarter of an inch the whole way around, so this boot doesn't seal. So, if you don't know what I'm referring to this little boot here, which seals the back of the booster to the firewall of the car. Now, here is a second booster. So, this boot goes over top of the shaft, and it'll sit about here. So, the firewall is a little bit bigger than that, so there's an air gap in there, so dust can get in from the engine compartment, which we really don't want. So the original boot would have went on these two studs and it would have covered up this boot, so then the total length probably would have been about to here. So what I did is I found a couple boots from Chevelle clutches. I'll have to look to see what year this is, but I think this is like a 68 to 72 or something boot. So I like this one because it had a similar shape, but the only issue is that I can't put this boot that far inside of here. So what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to take the booster back off. I'm going to see how far this boot goes in, trim it, and then maybe put a little bit of RTB on it and squish him down, and that'll block that air gap. Booster back off, and just to show you the size difference, I wanted to hold him up there so you can see how much air of an air gap we're going to be letting out if we just have this boot floating in the middle. So I did double check, this is a 68 to 72 GM A-body clutch rod boot. So if we take our boot and we line it up, it stops at this last bump here. So I think I'm going to start off by cutting it either right on this ridge here or just behind it. I'll just cut it just behind it, and that'll be enough to let this boot sit inside. I slipped the boot in the whole way into the body, and you can see it seals up. Put a little bit of silicone around this edge and then jam it back in there. And then I also mocked up in here to make sure there wouldn't be any problems with the brake pedal travel. So I put a clevis in here on the pedal in the correct lower hole on the brake pedal, and I put a little bolt in the clevis to compress this so the pedal doesn't travel all that far. But I'm trying to get the camera closer. But even if I put it to the floor, the boot doesn't want to shoot out, and it's not affecting the pedal force at all, and it's not really rubbing too much on the side, so I think it'll be perfect. And turns out it was a little bit more difficult to install that time. It always works a little better when the camera is off, it seems. But we got it on here and it looks good. I went around the edge with a paper towel to make a little bead of silicone to seal that up. So I'm going to let that sit for a minute, and then I will go back, grab my booster, go for take 2. So the power brake booster is in. Everything looks good, all the bolts are tight. There's two in the top, and there's two nuts that come through the main pedal assembly. So you put those nuts on there, and then it's good to go. So it's not going anywhere. Makes the engine compartment look a little more complete, and you'll never know that I put a seal in there. Little critter there. Hopefully keep dust out. It looks good. So the only modifications I made to that Chevelle boot is I cut it right in the middle of this step for one of those ridges. So I just cut it in one of the peaks, and then I cut a little bit off the snout, just to give me a little more clearance for the clevis. That way it wouldn't be compressing it too much. So just two pretty easy cuts. I just use an X-Acto knife. It's an easy project. This is only about 20 bucks on eBay, and it came with a little triangular piece. Now if you look at the factory one, you'll see that it also had a flange. Like I mentioned earlier, if you wanted to do that, you could take a little bit of metal and you could cut that out. And I have pieces of one from this booster. I didn't have a whole one. The metal part was so rusty it just fell apart and disintegrated, and it might have stuck on the car it was taken off of. So I don't have a complete one, but you'll never see that. That was just to keep it probably just from moving back and forth, from falling either in the car or falling out towards the booster. So that just helps it seal, but it should be fine with a little bit of silicone. That's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up. I hope you found that helpful. We got plenty more videos coming. Also, if you need a power brake booster, I have another one for sale on my eBay store, Corvette's 365. So if you need a power brake booster, go ahead and check it out. Check out all the videos around me, subscribe to the channel, check out my other videos. Remember, get out there, work on something, and I have a lot of work to do. So I'll see you guys later.